Up, everybody? It's your boy D-Bird, and we're back. We're back, baby. We did a full week of banging ass bangers, just banging ass bangers, ass bangers. Wow, there was so much going on this week. There's some insane songs that were put out. There was some crazy controversy that we'll get into. There's just a little bit of everything for everybody. What else could you want from a song versus song tournament on the internet? How's everybody doing out there? Who we got in the chat? I see Uryu, still my favorite name to say out loud. Jukakus was cracking playa, aka Relac. How's everybody doing tonight? Are we excited? Are we good? Okay. Sick. I'm there I am. I was gonna say I'm trying to pull up this Twitch stream so I can stare at myself while I'm talking. Perfect. All right. Well, like all things, yeah. This is my office. As white collar representatives, we have to really show up and show out. So, this is where the magic happens, as they say in Cribs. As we all know, every song tournament that's ever been attempted on the internet, especially with any sort of prize money attached, is just full of fucks. And full of somehow people getting upset about something. Now, when I first concocted this idea, I was like, you know what? What would be a fun way to get the community engaged? What would be, an interesting way to pump out really cool music, to, give people a purpose in their life? Because I know that all of you probably are just living for the day that you log into White Collar Rhymes and you see topics from little old me. And because of this, your gracious God tossed up $500 of his own money for no other reason than to get y'all, a little excitement in your lives. And what's the thanks I get for it? Well, I was coming in here a little heated, a little hot. Then I decided to watch The Road, which is probably the most depressing movie of all time. So then it brought me real down low, and I was like, fuck, what does it all mean? This is the worst. I hate all things in the world. And then I watched Always Sunny, brought me right back up. Specifically, I watched the last season where Dennis Reynolds, the last episode of last season, Dennis Reynolds with his mental health day, where he's like, and just lets all of the things float off of his back. So here's what I'll say about the controversy. We started out hot with a battle between Coulter and none other than Privacy. I knew this was going to be an interesting matchup because both of these guys have proven themselves to be really good singers. From week one, week two, Privacy's new to the server. And, there was, based on the mix, based on, some of the vocals, there was a genuine curiosity, privacy, as some call it in the UK. There's a genuine curiosity of, is this man an AI? Is this a computer? Is this Alicia Vikander in the form of a white rapper instead of in the form of a hot robot to do your bidding? Well, snuck in the DMs. I was like, week two, like, hey man, what's going on? And he's like, yo, I know there's some questions. I can show you the stems. I was like, you know what? Nah, it's cool. We're good. Fast forward to week three. Again, some questions come up about AI. He hops in the VC, shows us the stems. We talk through it. I believe the guy. At the end of the day, one of the reasons that we set it up how we set it up, however, is so that no fuckery can be had, right? It's pure democracy. It's whatever the people say is right, America in better times. Basically he was saying like, look, there's no rules against using commercial beats. I'm not a producer. And the vocals sound that way because I suck at mixing. Well, what I would say is that you're in the right place, bud, because we have some awesome engineers. We have some awesome producers. I genuinely hope you stick around. I do think that was your voice, and I do think it's amazing. Even if it was AI, you make some great AI music. But no, I saw the proof. I believe this is a genuine human who speaks words out of his mouth and out of his throat and sings from the heart. Regardless, the voters this week thought that his submission was just a little too similar to Chris Brown's Fine China, which he was paying homage to. There's always that kind of back and forth that people go through of, is it an homage or is it just biting? I think hip hop is more kind of biased against biting, because when you take somebody's lyric or you take somebody's cadences, it's one of the cardinal sins of rapping. However, when it comes to like singing, there's a lot of, covers. There's a lot of different stuff involved in there. And as far as, making it as his own song, I think he did that over the Chris Brown beat. So nonetheless, Coulter advances into the next round. Congratulations, Coulter. The people have spoken, and, you definitely earned your spot. Coulter's a beast of his own right. That song was probably, I downloaded Hostage, so I can't say it's my favorite of the tournament, but insane. Like, the talent level is just off the charts bonkers, and definitely earned that win this week by having easily one of the best songs of the week. Next up, and by the way, before I move on to just all of the battles this week, I gotta say, shout out to everyone who's here. Shout out to everyone who made the Sweet 16. Not everyone's journey was the same, but everyone was here and everyone tried. Everyone made a song. Not one person didn't show up to their battle. And there was a lot of insane music that was put out this week. So shout out to all the competitors that made it this far. So Coulter moves on. Privacy, aka Privacy. Stick around, man. We'll teach you how to mix, and we've got some beats for you. Next up, Kyle Jamison versus Mailbox Spiders. Kyle Jamison. Long track, very good track. This guy is Childish Gambino. I'm not convinced he's not an AI Childish Gambino. Insane vocal talent, as well as he got rapping, he got lyrics. The guy does it all. What else do you want? Triple threat. He was going up against Mailbox Spiders, who is a awesome producer in his own right, who produced all of his own tracks for each and every week, each and every battle. I don't know how much rapping or singing he's done before this point, because every time he submits stuff to the review show, it's usually just beats. So this has been a very fun experience seeing all of the different things that he's come up with week in and week out. The latest was described as a fever dream, which is always exciting. No one can complain about dreams while having a fever. Ultimately, Kyle Jamison won this one, but there was definitely a healthy amount of people that also voted for Mailbox Spiders, so healthy showing from him as well. There was no sweeps from any of the matches, and it just kind of goes to show the level of talent we have here. So congratulations to Kyle Jamison. You're moving on to week 4. Next up, we have Ray Stans versus Birdcage. Birdcage. As a fellow bird, Obviously, I was biased, and that's why I'm not allowed to vote on any of this shit. Unless, of course, it's a crazy tiebreaker, and fuck it, I'll do it. Because it's my money and my tournament. Fuck you. But didn't need to. And Birdcage, this week, chose to go a little out of his comfort zone. I know he was one of the favorites coming into the tournament, having just recently won one of the last tournaments that we did like this. So a lot of talent in there. The guy can, rap his ass off. I think some of the singing wasn't really resonating with some of the voters. And they looked, they compared and contrasted to Ray Stans, who kind of chilled out for this one. He was like, let me brush my hair back and just do some vibes, baby. Oh, hey, like, do you want to split a bottle of wine? Whoosh, whoosh, moves his majestic hair. And that song, that is worthy of just putting on the profile, man. Again, I don't know if the profiles are still up. I don't know the current status of his love life. Probably already has a new wifey. But if you don't, if you're still on the apps, just link that song, man. Smooth, awesome hook. I had it stuck in my head as soon as I walked away from it. I was like still kind of humming along to it. So it just kind of shows the growth that I think everybody's made in this tournament. So shout out Ray Stans. You're moving on to week 4. Let's see. Next up, let's talk about Cody Nash and Nick Bonin, shall we? Cody Nash, my man from another clan. Not the hooded kind, just, a place that wasn't from me. Cody Nash. I'm great at intros. This was a fun track this week. I loved the upbeatness to it. It was kind of like a cool mix of like a sing-songy party rock, similar to the Chicharrones. Like, it kind of felt like a Chicharrón song to me, and I know that you know who they are and would probably get that reference, while no one else here probably would. But very fun, upbeat. The second part of it, the second half where you lean into the rapping, like that verse right there was like, holy shit. Like, oh my God. I loved every minute of that. There was a part of me that wished you had a first verse that was like that as well. Just like you rapped straight up for both sides. But you did your thing here, and a lot of people, voted for you. There was a lot of votes on this battle as well as all of them. And then in comes Nick Bonin and says, nope. Just fucking swings his big old Nick Bonin dick and slaps the door right off the hinges and says, I'm here, motherfucker. You might have started this server with all you and your rap buddies, but guess who knows how to make Juice WRLD songs with the vocals of an angel? This was another great radio ready track. Again, just one of those things where you could see the talent displayed. Shout out also that he's producing all of his own songs, right? Like, that's another level there where him, Mailbox Spiders, maybe Kyle Jameson on some of it. I know he produces as well. Probably forgetting some, maybe M Theory. There's probably a lot of people that do this. I personally wouldn't be able to. But shout out Nick Bonin for, making the beats that he's rapping on, because that's a whole nother layer of creativity of like, okay, how am I going to tackle this topic holistically? And, what sort of vibe am I looking for? So another one to download, put on the playlist. Nick Bonin, congratulations. You're moving on into week 4. Next up, let's talk about Rip Lux and M Theory. Now, Rip Lux, he is one that I cautioned last week. I was like, don't sleep on this guy. And then read right 1 hour under the deadline is like, hope nobody's sleeping on Rip Lux, or Spectre One, as we like to call him. And, then he went and voted for the other guy after checking the actual battle out. So it does show that even some people who come in with an idea can be impartial judges when it comes to looking at both sides. So for this battle, Rip Lux rapped his fucking ass off. This is just rapid fire spitting intelligent lyrics. It's kind of like the immortal technique of rapbattles.com. Just like, oh, do you want to know about American colonialism and Eastern European expansion? Well, let me tell you about it in rhyme form over this 90s boom bap. And he just raps for 3 minutes straight. I do think, and I've always said this, he never fucking listens to me, but I do think if he figured out how to place a strategic hook somewhere in between those rapidy raps, it could break up some of that very heavy, intelligent, very good rapping, so that when it comes back, it hits even harder. Again, not my circus, not my monkeys. This is just how I would prefer to see a song structured. But the guy did his thing, and shout outs for Rip Lux ripping it. However, M Theory came in and said, nah, let me just gravel voice. He did some hummings and he did some rappings. This guy, a lot of people say, is the second coming of D-Bird. Or they say D-Bird is the second coming of M Theory. I'm not sure which one. And actually, I'm not sure if anyone says that. But this guy can rap, and he knows how to make a good song. And you can see the professionalism in the quality. You can see it in the song structure. Ultimately, the voters said, M Theory, we want you. America calls for you. So next, fourth round is yours. Next up, we have, let's see, who haven't I talked about? X-Raider and King Zig. X-Raider, King Zig. These guys, this was probably one of the closest battles out of the week, for sure. This is up there as, I think it's just a matter of preference. It really is either or. X-Raider and Zig both chose the same topic, misery business. They both had very well-produced songs. I think X-Raider kind of leaned into the lyricism, leaned into his vocabulary, as always, kind of came with what we were expecting him to. And Zig came with the energy. This was very bumpable. Like, I found myself nodding along to it. I was like, yeah, your mom got shot, and not like insolent. I've never been so happy to, nod along while somebody's mom is shot. So very close. I think that it could have gone either way this week. And, basically every other vote was for the opposite person. Ultimately, Zig did pull this one off. And again, I would just say that I know that there's a lot of controversy over, who's voting for who. I would say that with the volume of votes we get, like, we're talking like 30 plus votes or more. The volume of votes cancels out any shenanigans. And I feel like it's just the most fair way to do it. However, I will say, if you are actively going into DMs, this is for everybody. If you're actively going into DMs and like saying, I won't vote for you unless you vote for me, or like, hey buddy, like, let's do vote for vote. Like, that's so fucking whack. I'm not calling anyone out particular here. I'm just saying that, like, if you think of this as like a bar trivia night and you're the guy that like sneakily steals glances at his cell phone and is like, oh, I got every answer right. Give me the fucking $25 gift certificate to Bottle Caps. Like, Come on. What are we doing here? So just look inward, look at your life, and say, am I fulfilled? Something to think about. Congratulations, King Zig. You earned it this week, and you are moving on to round 4. Let's now talk about Relac and Trev. Relac versus Trev. This is the exact clash of the titans, the clash of the styles, shall we say. You have Relac on one hand, whose voice of an angel sings with a heart of gold. Kind of a cool poppy beat this week too. Like, I really like that. I will say that, like, I think the quality affected you this week. It felt, I know Mitch did the mixes. So Mitch, I don't know if you just got tin can recordings or what, but it felt like the quality on this was a lot of reverb and a lot of sharpness to it. Outside of that, it felt like a great vocal performance and an interesting song. And a lot of people were vibing with it. On the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got Trev, who's like, all right, I'm going to take, this guy's going to do a love song. I'm going to do a fuck song. I'm going to do a fuck song. Yeah, get on your missionary, bitch. And he's just like rappity in, oh, it's crazy, baby. Rappity rap, doggy style. And, it was, again, an interesting clash of the styles where you've got somebody who's like, no, I'm going to just spit these bars and you're going to get this work. And you got this guy who's like, oh, let me sing about it. Let me sing to you until those panties just slide right off. It was very close until the very last minute. Literally, it was like tied for a lot of the day. At the very end, Relac squeezed it out. I think it was squeezed it out. Didn't squeeze it out. That means poop. He won decisively by 3 votes. So congratulations to Relac, JCC. Quality, my friend. Use those fucking angelic vocal cords for whoever you get next week, and make sure that what's coming out of your mouth lands on tracks the way that you intend and the way God intends. All right. Last but not least, let's talk about MCD versus Ray New. So, as far as controversy goes, this was a little second piece of controversy this week. And, I think you guys just like to keep me on my toes. It's always something. And, like I said, because of the personal destruction and recreation that I had right before this, I have been enlightened to be at the following stage of life, which is MCD came with a ballad to a serial killer. It was kind of reminiscent of Eminem's Kim, but more true crimey. I thought this was really good, and I, really enjoyed what he did with the visuals that he painted. The hook was catchy. I think he really did show his versatility as an artist. And maybe just some of the voters weren't as excited about maybe the content. But I think this is a solid song, and I can already tell he's going to put this into his catalog. And maybe, jerk off in a cemetery to it or something. I don't know what he does. Drink blood out of a skull. Creep. He's going to love that tomorrow when he wakes up. Ray New, on the other hand, he had a deep rappity rap song. He put a lot of thought into it, said, you know what? I'm going to do part 2 of second week. I'm going to make kind of a follow-on spiritual successor based on one of these topics. I'll use it, sure. But he did another track, I think, of drug use and kind of recovery. Seems like he's in that space and really wants to identify with people with that. Well, it was 8-7. I counted 8 votes to MCD, 7 votes to Ray New. And he said, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Specifically, fuck you, D-Bird. In less words. He didn't point me out, but ultimately it was a fuck me. He said, you know what? This is too political. People are going into DMs and saying, you vote for me or else. People are like trying to sway. Y'all are just clicked up and, basically suggested that this tournament isn't fair. I personally take offense to that because, I don't have to be doing this, right? Like, I don't need to give my friends $500. A lot of the people that are competing, I'm friends with in real life, hang out actively, or, whenever I get the chance to in person, I see them. I'd still vote against them if I was voting. I think a lot of people have been voting against people that they've known for a long time if the reason is there, right? I think that there's also some people who potentially have tried to game the system, potentially have tried to get some extra votes, but ultimately there's so many people that vote on so much of this shit, it'll wind up going out in the wash anyways. So motherfucker dipped, said peace, and left the server, said I forfeit. Ultimately, I think he was scared of losing, took it very seriously, and took the baby boy bitch way out. He's like, if I leave before the votes are tallied, no one can say shit. And the big irony of it all, he got a couple more votes afterwards. It was still close. And we'll never know what would have happened between MCD and Ray New. And it's kind of a fucking shame for MCD. I feel bad for MCD. I feel bad for the tournament. I feel bad for people that wanted to get their voices heard. There were a few people that didn't see that it was closed and just kind of came in later and, dropped a vote. But if people were like, oh, this is open, let me give my voice to this, then we would have gotten a lot more than what ended up happening after closing it. So MCD moves forward with Ray New's bitch ass bitching out. Sorry, man. You were a talented guy. People liked you. And I do think that you would have had a shot. But you're gone. And with that, my mind has erased you forever. But all jokes aside, you're welcome to come back and hang out with the community. No hard feelings. I will be over this tomorrow, I promise. Come back in. The water's warm. Vote on the battles. See MCD do really good and be like, man, that could have been me. So there you have it, folks. It's Kyle Jamison, Ray Stans, King Zig, Relac, MCD, Coulter, Nick Bonin, and M Theory. Quite a fucking Elite Eight we got, isn't it? You guys ready to see the matchups? You guys ready for this week? I am going to pull out the old trusty Wonder ball cap and put the competitors' names into it. The funny part about this is I probably could have had a D-Bird beanie, which that would have played way better for this exact experience. But alas, I gave them all to my friends in real life, and I have none for myself anymore. So if you would like your own D-Bird beanie, just to show me that you like me a lot, or if you want a White Collar Rhymes beanie, White Collar Rhymes hoodie, whatever it is, you can check them out. It's just on thewhitecollarrhymes.com. Get yourself a beanie, and you too can run your own tournament and have a bunch of people drop out and complain the whole time. It's the best. Let's get into the picking, shall we? All right. Mix them up good and long, good and hard. Who's it gonna be? Kyle Jamison, Ray Stans, King Zig, Relac, MCD, Coulter, Nick Bonin, and M Theory. First up, Relac. Who's that yakety yak going up against? Don't tell me my pen is failing. There we go. Relac. Who we facing, Relac? Who you want to face? Tell me. It's Nick Bonin. If you said Nick Bonin, you wanted to go up against him, then you got it. Relac versus Nick Bonin. Also, if you guys aren't in the Discord 24/7, like me, you might have missed that our voice channels are popping. We've always got some sort of fun games going on. Nick, JCC, regularly playing games and hooting and hollering and playing CS, where they're going to have to put the virtual Desert Eagle down and record songs against each other this week. Can't wait to see it, fellas. Next up, King Zig. King Zig. Who we got going up against King Zig? Coulter. King Zig versus Coulter. This will be great because I don't think any of these people like each other, actually. They might have actual virtual internet beef. So try your hardest. Can't wait. Next up, we got Kyle Jamison. My man Kyle. K-Y-L. Jamison. I was never a Jameson guy. More of a Henny person myself. Mr. Jameson and Ray Stans. Ray Stans. Bring some of that smooth hair energy. Both of these guys are going to have to out-pretty each other. Both older, distinguished gentlemen who have seen a lot of love. Next up, M Theory. M Theory. I mean, I could just pull it out. It's the last. It's the last one. So M Theory and MCD. Woo. M Theory versus MCD. Both M names. Whoever wins this week will have to change their initials. That'll be great. That'll be a great one too. You've got, the King of the Undead versus the King of the Underground. So a lot of great matchups this week. Here we go, boys. Elite 8. Can you believe it? I didn't think we'd make it this far. It's Relac versus Nick Bonin, King Zig versus Coulter, Kyle James versus Ray Stans, and M Theory versus MCD. Good luck, everybody. I can't wait. This is going to be an awesome one. And I swear to God, if anyone has any more questions about AI or voting, let America handle it. Democracy, baby. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we'll be around the chats. We'll be around the voice communication channels, watching Britt drive a truck at all hours of the night. Looking forward to this week's matchups. Good luck, everybody. Peace.